Hey guys, it's Brianna Trusty, your very trusty source, and I'm back with a brand new episode of my series, Straight from the Source. As Bachelor fans know, Matt James' season of The Bachelor is well underway, and he's cutting ladies left and right looking for his one true fab fit fun partner. Love. His one true love. Anyways, night one, he cut professional ballerina Alicia Holloway, and Matt's loss our gain because Alicia talked with me about everything from what went down night one at Nemacolin to being compared to grocery store Joe to performing with Aretha Franklin. All that and more, and it starts right now. Alrighty, well, I'm glad we could finally nail this down.
I know, I'm sorry. It's been so much back and forth, but now we're finally here, so I'm super excited.
I was excited when I saw you on the contestant list at first because I saw your professional ballerina, and as a dancer, I was rooting for you from the start. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you for that long. But tell me, how did you end up on The Bachelor in the middle of a pandemic in the first place?
That is a very good question. I was just telling this story a couple hours ago, but basically, one of my best friends, last December, she was like, Alicia, you really should just apply for The Bachelor. I feel like you would be a perfect fit for it. Like you have the personality for it, the story, your backstory, and I have a really unique family story. And just my profession and everything. She was like, I think you'd be great. So I was like, I don't know. And I thought about it for a couple weeks. And then last January, I applied. And then flash forward, a couple months, and I got a call from the show, and I, dove a little deeper with the application process, and then I got on. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah. So had you watched any of the shows before you were cast, like Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah, so it's so funny. I actually was like, I did not watch The Bachelor for years. I remember like 10 years ago being at my ballet school here in the city, and I just moved to New York. And all my classmates were watching The Bachelor, and they were all like, "Oh my God." And it was Sean Lowe's season.
Okay.
And so I like saw a couple episodes, and I was like, this is not my thing. I don't want to be watching this. I was like, it's a no for me. I was like, no, thank you. I never watched it until Colton season 23. And my best friends, all it took was my best friends, we were all in our group chat, texting away, whatever. And they kept talking about the show. And oh my gosh, did you see he chose Hannah B over da da da, or Hannah G and Kaylin and da 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 da. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of feeling left out in these text messages, in these group chats. So let me just see what it's about. And I was actually on tour with my ballet company in Pittsburgh. And so I was like, you know what? I had a lot of time to kill. So I started watching. They were like at the Women Tell All, and I binged in like 3 days and like to catch up. And I was addicted. And then I was like, okay. And so then I watched Peter's season, but I've never seen The Bachelorette. I watched Claire's season because I know Tyler C, not Tyler Cameron, Tyler Cottrell, from West Virginia. We're like from the same place. And yeah, I watched, I didn't finish Tayshia's season, but I've, seen a little bit of The Bachelorette, but I'm pretty new to the Bachelor franchise.
Okay, so you got like the perfect like inside scoop there. Like your friends, you flipped the script in the group chat. I'm sure you went from not being part of the conversation to the conversation.
Exactly, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, you made quite the impression. You literally like swirled into Matt's life.
I know, so wild.
It was a great intro. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get to like really hear the conversation between the two of you. So what did you guys talk about once you got up there?
We just talked. I told him how nervous I was. And it was such a great conversation. He's such a sweet guy. The limo entrances, it's so nice because, I think all of the girls, and Matt, are super nervous. And I feel like I was just like, you know what, I kind of want to tell him I'm a little nervous because I feel like he was like, me too. And so we kind of, it just eased the conversation a little bit. But it was a great conversation, and he's so sweet. So I'm really happy to have been able to talk to him in that moment.
Yeah. So when after that conversation, did you feel sparks flying at all, or what was the vibe there?
I think I was feeling all the emotions, it was just it just became so real, and like this is a moment that I had thought about since months ago. And I feel like being there, and what's so crazy for me specifically is that I grew up 30 minutes away from Nemacolin.
Mm,
So
wow.
I grew up, and like for the longest time, it was my dream to get married there, and I had been there a lot of times. And whenever I found out it was being filmed at Nemacolin, I was like, "You have got to be freaking kidding me!" I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "This is fake." Like, I was like, "Fake
Right.
news. This is not real." I was like, "No way." And so that to me was really special, and it was kind of a sign whenever I found out it was going to be filmed there. I was like, I have to go. So yeah, I was feeling all the emotions whenever I first met him, for sure.
Okay, okay. So you had your entrance, you met Matt, you walked in, hopefully took those point shoes off. What
Oh
was
yes, girl,
right on,
absolutely. I was like, the boots are coming off.
right? So what
Put the
was
heels
the
on.
vibe then? What was it like when you walked inside with the other girls? What was that like?
Yeah, I would, like I said a second ago, I was nervous, but like I didn't know what to expect. I knew that there were going to be a lot of other women, and I had no idea what to expect. But honestly, it was such a positive vibe.
Mm,
I got along with every girl I talked to that night. We had great conversations. A lot of girls are from the New York area or live in the New York area, and I mean, it was just like it was the best vibe I could have ever. It was way better than I pictured. You know what I mean? And I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know what to expect.
right.
So I was just kind of like, I don't know going into this. Like I have no idea what to expect, but it by far exceeded all of my expectations. It was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome that you got to talk to some of the other contestants, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, not much time with Matt. In your one
I
of your
know.
confessionals, you kind of mentioned how you were worried about not being eliminated because of not having that one-on-one
Mhm.
time. So, what do you think happened? Was there too many girls trying to talk to him, or what was going on?
The night flies by sooner than you think.
Mm,
And I think like it goes by super fast, even though it's a very long night. And I think that I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And there were some girls that didn't get time with him, and they did get a rose.
right.
And a lot of people have asked me, like, are you jealous? Like there have been some people that didn't get to talk to him, and they still got roses, but you didn't. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, no, because I don't feel jealousy in any type of way, because I truly believe everybody has their own path. Everything happens for a reason. And I left feeling super confident that Matt was left with however many, 24, whatever the number was, beautiful, successful women. So I was really happy for him, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it was sad, not getting a rose, but at the same time, again, everything happens for a reason. And I truly think that he was like left in great hands.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a really positive way to come out of it, because definitely some
Yeah.
contestants get super up in arms about it. But I mean,
Oh,
it's
for sure.
all a journey, it's a process.
Exactly.
But on the show, Victoria, aka Queen Victoria,
Queen
what
Victoria. Yes.
was the last name called? Is that how it was in real life as well?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so what was going I mean, you said it was all positive vibes, but obviously right in the moment, what was
Right.
like the first thought in your head, like when you heard that very last name?
Um, I was just like, damn. Like, honestly, I was like, I don't know. That was literally like my thought. I was like, what? And
Yeah.
because I feel like you know, so many people like I just felt so like you said, and like I said, like so positive, and I felt like everything was great. And it was just like, wait a second, what? And it took me a second to like realize that that was reality. And it goes so quickly. Like
Yeah.
whenever you hug your girlfriends that you just met, and you say goodbye, it goes by so fast. It's kind of a whirlwind. So I was just like thinking a ton of things at the moment. But I was like, Well, everything happens for a reason. I get my phone back and I don't get to miss Halloween because I love Halloween. So I was excited about that.
Right.
So
That
so
is
yeah, I mean, it was a whirlwind of emotions, but also, I knew that that's reality and I had to face reality.
right. Well, on night one contestant said that she went through like 4 COVID tests and like had to quarantine and all this stuff. So what was your process or situation COVID wise leading up to the show to actually be on it?
We all had to take, precautions and COVID-19 precautions and everything. Before we even left, we, obviously had to get a COVID test. But, while we were there, we were very safe and we created this bubble that was really nice. So I felt like super safe.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, with that aside, then having to pack for a bubble situation, like
Yeah.
having to have enough outfits, did you pack? How much did you pack? Did you pack enough to be there to get Matt's final rose?
Oh, 100%. I am the type of person, and I think it's because I've been with my ballet company, Dance Theater of Harlem, for 6 years now, and we're a touring company, so we go on tour a lot. So you have to be prepared. We go like sometimes we'll go in the middle like of January or the middle of February. We'll go to the middle of Minnesota where it's freezing, snowing, 6 feet of snow, whatever, and then our next stop will be Miami, and then we'll go to Seattle, and then we'll go to Florida. I've always been taught to pack, for all the occasions,
Right.
right? So I definitely I'm an overpacker, and I think that was my one downfall is that I was like, okay, Alicia, you gotta like reel it back a little bit. I was like, you can't bring your whole closet.
Right.
And so, I had one of my best friends. She works at Macy's and she's in fashion, and she helped me pick out my outfits. Luckily, I was very blessed and lucky that I think I bought 4 gowns. Oh yeah, I bought 4 gowns, and they were like perfect. They were like final rose, all the rose ceremonies. Like
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna be stunting on these girls. Like I was like, I'm trying to look cute. Like
Right.
I was like, yeah, but they told me that like I got them shipped. I paid for expedited shipping. They got there the day after I left.
No.
I was like, and obviously I didn't need them, but the whole time I was stressed out. I was like, I could have looked so great, but
Gosh.
luckily enough, again, because of my profession and also living in New York City, you go to all these like big fancy, fashion and work events and everything.
Right.
I have a ton of, gowns and cocktail attire that I felt super comfortable wearing. So I packed a lot, but I think I packed the perfect amount of clothes.
All right. Well, hopefully you get to rock those outfits in the near future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, because that's a lot.
After all that, I know. I'm like, I have all these like new cute clothes, and I'm like, I can't wear them anywhere because I can't go anywhere.
On
So
Instagram. Do it for the gram.
great, do it for the gram. Amen.
So between the COVID precautions and the purchasing of all the things and everything, and then getting sent home night one, in retrospect, do you still feel that the experience was worth it?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I wouldn't do anything differently. Because, my journey, that was my journey and I have no shame in it. And I think that, um, again, it just always goes back to, for me, everything happens for a reason. And I think that for me, it was 1,000% worth it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, since your journey is over, are you still watching some of your contestants, or you kind of like been there, seen that, done that over?
Oh no, I'm definitely watching because I am, I'm friends with the girls, even though I was there, my time there was short lived. I really did make solid friendships while I was there, which is so funny because I feel like I always knew like girls would be like, oh yeah, no, I'm still friends with the girls even though I left,
Right.
week 1, 2, 3, whatever. But that's very true. It's like it's like a sisterhood almost. And so I definitely am super into, women supporting women. And I think that especially because I know these girls, I'm like, I want to do my best to support all of them that are there. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
based on what you saw night one and then what we've seen so far, do you have an idea or do you have a hope of someone who takes home the final rose at this point?
Yes. But I will keep that opinion to myself. But I think all the girls are amazing. And I think that, they looked incredible. Like Brie and Sarah on their one-on-ones, especially for me, Brie, she just looked so stunning. And I had no idea that her mom, gave birth to her when she was 13. Um, that's just like so crazy to me. Or I guess she got pregnant with her at 13. That's what she said. But that, is so crazy to me. And for her, for both of the girls and for all the women that, Jasenia also became very vulnerable. And even Queen Victoria became vulnerable with Matt, and that's what she felt. I think it's a lot harder to become and to be vulnerable on camera than people think it is. And I definitely think that people don't give enough credit to the girls on The Bachelor. You know what I mean? Because you are sharing your whole story in front of America and the world. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm excited to watch too. So
Yeah.
you're keeping it to yourself, but fingers crossed that whoever you're rooting for pulls through.
Yeah.
But at this point, you shot it months ago now. But I'm sure that people who would give you their final rose are interested in this. How is any updates on your journey to find love in the outside non-bachelor world?
I'm a very private person when it comes to just even like friendships and relationships. But I think that like being in that bubble, being in that world, it's so crazy because like dating there versus dating, in real life is so different. And especially dating during COVID times, like I have friends that are going on dates left and right and they're like, oh, it's like 20 degrees outside. I don't know what we're gonna do. And
Right.
so it's kind of crazy. But I think dating is really hard right now. But I'm a very private person, but I'm very, very happy. And yeah, I'm very happy.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll search through your Instagram, see if there's any
Yeah.
there.
Yes. That's the
Well,
way to do it.
post-elimination though, people on social media, I don't know if you've seen, they've compared you to Grocery Store Joe
Yeah.
from a previous season because he, even though he was eliminated week one, he became like an instant fan favorite. Everyone
Yeah.
loved him and they brought him back for Paradise. Would you
Right.
ever consider in any capacity, even if it's not for finding love, if it's just happening to like do a challenge or something, help out, would you consider, if you got the phone call, coming back to the Bachelor, Bachelorette in some capacity?
Oh, yeah. I think that I don't like to predict or I don't like to put ideas in my head until I have something concrete. So I haven't. It's so funny because I've been like going on Twitter and Instagram and my friends sending me things and they're like, oh my god, hashtag justice for Alicia, hashtag blah blah blah. And it's so funny to me because I see people like I just got a video yesterday of this guy and he was like videotaping. He was like, oh my god, he's like, Alicia's a fan favorite, and then like double tapping the screen and turning it around, and he was like, there's one rose left, my girl Alicia is still there, blah blah blah. And it's so funny because people my whole life had said my name, they've always said my name wrong. Everyone calls me Alicia, but it's Alicia, and I always tell people it's like delicious, which is like weird. But it gets people, know how to say it after
Right.
that. But it's like seeing all these people are like, Alicia this, justice for Alicia, or like Alicia the ballerina, like justice for her, whatever, or Alicia for Paradise. I think that that's like super, it makes me feel good because, I guess I did make an impact on some people. And I think that, if I get an offer from some type of Bachelor Nation something, I'll definitely have to think about it. But I love my Bachelor family, so we'll definitely have to see. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely, I mean, waltzed into the hearts of Bachelor Nation. Everyone loves you. But you obviously were dancing in real life long before that. So
Yes.
talk to me about how you got your start in dance in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. So I have an older cousin who is about 8 years older than I am, and my parents would take me when I was a baby to her dance recitals once a year. And I think when I was like 2 or 3, I would go to her dance recitals, and the whole time would run up and down the aisles dancing, and I wouldn't stop. Like there would be intermission, I'd keep going. And the studio owner, the dance studio owner, went up to my mom and dad, and they're like, "If you don't enroll this little girl in classes, then we're gonna have a problem." So my parents enrolled me in classes when I was 3, and I started and haven't stopped. So it's definitely been a long, long journey, but I can't imagine my life without dance at all. No way.
Well,
But
yeah.
it's corny, but it is like my one true love and like my passion. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You got to showcase it on the show as well. It's so cool.
Yeah. I know, and I was really surprised to like see all of that. And I was like, I was personally surprised to see how much like I was like, wow, for because watching it, I knew what happened, and my family knew what happened, and my close friends knew what happened. And we were all like my friends were like, "Are you sure you get voted off Night One?" They were like, "You're getting a lot of screen time." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
I know. I mean, it was just too
Yeah.
good. It was too good to mess up. Yeah, you had to.
Oh my God.
Well, like you said, at this point, you've been with your company, Dance Theater of Harlem, for several
Mhm.
seasons now. Was that always your dream company?
Actually, no. So I never really had a dream company, and it's interesting because so to be a ballet dancer, you kind of have to go to a major school or a school with like top-notch training because, it's like a statistic. It's like 99% of ballet dancers um don't make it into a professional realm, right? So it's that 1% that you're trying to be a part of. And for me, growing up in West Virginia, that's, the training is excellent, but I always wanted, I wanted more. I always wanted more. So when I was just 13 years old, I actually moved away to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I went to the University of North Carolina School of the Arts my freshman year of high school. So my whole family stayed in West Virginia, and I've been seeing like some things online were like, "Oh yeah, Alicia's like whole family moved to West Virginia for training," and I'm like, for her dance training. I'm like, not quite, but I love the effort.
Yeah.
I moved by myself to North Carolina. I stayed in a dorm. Like we lived in a dorm. It was a college campus, but it was like a high school and college campus. And I actually took classes at Wake Forest, which is funny because that's where Matt played football. And yeah, I was there for 1 year, and then I got a scholarship to attend the School of American Ballet in New York City when I was 14 years old, and I was asked to stay for their winter term program, so for their year-round program. And so I moved up to New York City at 14. I was living in a dorm, and the School of American Ballet dorms are the same as the Juilliard dorms. So we kind of like lived in the same building as the Juilliard kids, which was really awesome. My dream was New York City Ballet because that was the school that was affiliated with SAB.
Right.
But I was really open like to anything really, but all I knew is that I wanted to live in New York. Like I really like I was like New York is just like home to me, you know what I mean? So it's funny because for ballet dancers, audition season typically happens like January through March or April when you're trying to audition when you're about 17 or like 18, 19, trying to audition for ballet companies. So my final year at the School of American Ballet, I was ready to audition. I was 18 and actually auditioned for Dance Theater of Harlem. It was a 6-hour long audition, which is not normal. Yeah, it's like, what? So 6-hour long audition, my toes were bleeding, hurt so badly, I had blisters, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Did the audition, they said they were very interested. And then a month later, they told my school director that they didn't have any room in the company. So at that moment, I was like, oh my God, I didn't get into New York City Ballet. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I want to dance in New York. I don't know what's going to happen. So then Flash forward, I ended up getting a job in DC. It was like a 6-week contract in the fall of 2015. This was in 2015. So I was planning on doing that and then seeing what other opportunities came my way. So then my dad, who's like, I'm such a daddy's girl. Like my dad and I are so close. I'm really close to my mom too, but such a daddy's girl. My dad was looking through Point magazine, which is like a huge dance, magazine. I was looking through Point, and I was at home in West Virginia, and this was in August of 2015. He was like, "Hey, Alicia, so Dance Theater of Harlem's having another audition. Like, you should go." And I was like, "Dad," and it said for a principal dancer, which is like the top tier dancer. I was like, "I'm 18, not a principal. We're in West Virginia. How are we gonna get to New York?" Like all these things. And I was like, "What's the audition?" He was like, "Saturday." And I was like, "Dad, it's Thursday night." And he's like, "Well, we'll drive up." So I was like, "All right, whatever." And so we drove up. I did another 6-hour long audition. And then about like 3 or 4 days later, I got a call saying that I got the job from my now boss. And I literally was like, just started screaming. I feel so bad. Like she was like, "Well, congratulations." And I literally screamed in this poor woman's ear, "Virginia, I'm so sorry." Like I busted her ear. But it was kind of one of those like dream come true moments. And yeah, and she was like, "You start in 2 weeks." And I was like, "Okay, here we go." And then the apartment search started and all of that. And then I moved to the city and back into the city, I guess. And I loved it.
Oh, that's an awesome story. I mean, people don't know how hard ballet dancers have to work to get to where they want to be. So, I mean, the perseverance required, incredible.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And people don't understand. And I actually had a conversation recently with a friend of mine, and he was saying that ballet dancers aren't athletes. And I was like, "I would love for you to do what I do for an hour and tell me I'm not an athlete." Like, and I'm not one of those people that's like really like confrontational, but I was like, no, I'm an athlete.
I mean, yeah, I mean, dream opportunity, dream profession. And I mean, you've had so many dream moments. I mean, you worked with Aretha Franklin, correct? I mean, tell me about that experience.
Oh my God. So DTH, Dance Theater of Harlem, Aretha's people reached out to DTH, and she said, "Hey, I'm doing our annual," Aretha had an annual holiday party in Detroit. And that it was every December. And she was like, "I want DTH dancers to, come and perform with me." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like we kind of heard it was like going on through the grapevine. And one day I just got an email saying, I was picked out of my company, and there were 4 of us, 4 of my good friends. And we started rehearsing and then flew to Detroit, and we were there for like 4 days, I think. Yeah. And perform with her. And she was a diva. I will say she was a diva, but she was very sweet and very thankful and just beautiful in person. And then we had like a little after party, and it was like her friends, her family. And we were just like all like dancing with her, and it was like incredible. I was like starstruck. It was amazing.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And speaking of amazing, when you're not performing with celebrities, you actually were just in your first music video for the song Amazing. How did that opportunity come to be? Talk to me about that.
Yes. Okay. So basically the group is called Jag Mac, and they are a sibling group, and they can all sing. So they can all sing, and I'm just like, how do you have 6 kids that just can miraculously all sing? Like that's like, I don't understand. I'm like, that's incredible. So so they can all sing. And I met Alyssa, who is part of the group. I met her at an event in New Jersey back in August. And then flash forward to November, I was here in the city, and she, like, Jag Mac lives in like the DC area. And so she reached out to me, and she was like, "Hey, like we're doing this video, like we really, really want to have a dancer. Can you send me like real like videos of you dancing like contemporary style?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Sent it to her, booked it, and it was so crazy because we were on a call, and they were like, So it's really kind of weird, but this is shooting in West Virginia. And I was like, stop. I was like, no way. And they're like, yeah, it's in Kaiser. And I was like, stop. I was like, that's where my grandma is from. Like, I was like, what? It was so crazy. It was incredible, and the whole weekend was amazing. And actually, exactly a week before before we shot the video, we went into filming. My brother, who had been sick for the past 5 years, passed away from kidney failure.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It basically was one of those things that started, he had diabetes, like years of untreated diabetes. It escalated into kidney failure, and then he caught pneumonia in November. And he unfortunately passed away. But, you know, it makes me relieved that he's not in pain anymore because, you know, he'd been in pain for so long. And the concept of this story is kind of it's a long thing, but we're coming out with a video. We just shot a video explaining kind of the backstory and everything. But it was honoring, you know, loved ones who had lived and who have, you know, passed away. And JAGMAC is incredible group. They're amazing. No pun intended, but they're amazing. And they actually lost a team member 3 days before we started shooting. So they were able to dedicate the video to Ryan and my brother Mario. So it was very special. Yeah, it was incredible, and I loved it, and I loved shooting. I was like, this is my first music video. Like, I was so excited. It was awesome. And then I'm shooting another music video on Monday, which I'm very excited about. So it's like a bunch of stuff happening, but I'm very excited.
Great. What can you give any more information about that one, or is it still kind of more under wraps?
It's a little under wraps, but I can, you know, the artist, his name is Kem, Kem, and it's a song with him and Tony Braxton. So I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited. So it should be fun. I can't wait for it to come out.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you have some big things in the works, even in the very near future. And now you have a newfound fan base with Bachelor Nation. So it's awesome. Big thing already 2021. It's only January.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And I was thinking back to like, it's so funny because I keep saying, I'm like I'll talk about things and I'm like, oh, like a year ago. And I'm like, wait, it's 2021. I'm like, quarantine started like a year ago almost. It's crazy. And today I was actually talking to one of my coworkers because so I was adopted. And I was adopted the day that I was born, like through a psychic. And it's like this like whole crazy story. But basically I connected with my biological father for the first time in March of last year. And I found out I have 5 siblings. We all have 5 different biological mothers, but we all have the same biological father. And I connected with them, and they are like incredible people, and we're so close. And I always wanted some sisters, and now I have 4 or 3, so it's crazy. But yeah, time is just really flying by. It's wild.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I look forward to seeing what you have in store for the rest of this year. And I mean, thank you so much for speaking with me. It was so fun. Like, you're awesome.
No, thank you. Hopefully we'll chat soon.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.